Hola, my name is Irene and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the last video of 2024. Oh my god. First of all, I want to apologize for my voice. I'm recovering from a cold, so my voice is not 100% yet. So I hope you can be a bit patient with me. I might be like coughing a little bit in this video, of my voice can sound a bit weird. I hope you don't mind and you can still enjoy this video. So as I said, this is the last video of 2024. I'm very happy to be making these videos. 2024 has been a very important year in my life because I finally decided to open this channel. I started making videos in back in August, so it's been almost 4 months. I'm very happy to the way things are going with the channel. I have so many ideas and goals for 2025. Very happy to be here. Very happy to be making videos and very happy to be sharing my books with you. So as you can tell, I'm again in a different background. I'm not in London these days. I am in Madrid. I'm spending Christmas with my family. So yeah, this is part of my family house. I'll be filming a couple of videos here. So stay tuned for that next year. These videos will come out in January, February of 2025. So yeah, stay tuned for those. I thought that for the last video of the year, I wanted to do like a more informal, chatty video talking about kind of doing a book wrap up, telling you about my readings of the year, some surprises, some disappointments, good decisions that I made reading related in 2024, and what would be my reading goals for 2025. Before telling you that, I need to tell you first that in this video, I'm not going to be talking about my top 10 books of the year. I'm going to do that in a separate video. So this one is more of a general view of what were my stats, what I enjoyed reading this year, these kind of things. But yeah, I will be making a video as well about my top 10 books of 2024. Also, I'm not going to be talking about every single one of the books that I read. If you are interested in those kind of videos, I have seen that people rate like from worst to best book of the year. If you are interested in this, let me know, and then yeah, I can do that. But yeah, for me, it would be more of a kind of a summary of what was 2024 for me reading wise. At the date I'm filming this video, which is the 19th of December, I have read 52 books, and my reading goal for 2024 was 55 books. I mean, it's not bad. I'm almost there. I still have a few days left, and I have like a couple of books that I'm still reading, and I have a few days to reach my goal. But I'm not very worried about that. I have read the same amount of books that I read last year, which was 52. That's approximately like one book per week, which is a rhythm that I can keep as well as doing other things. But yeah, I'm very hopeful that I'm going to reach my goal. I have a few books that I'm aim to finish. One of them, I have it here. This is 100 Years of Solitude. So yeah, this is one of the books that I'm hoping to read as well. Also, before we start, I would like to know about what was your reading goal of 2024. Also, if you have reached it, what is going to be your reading goal for 2025? If you have one, yeah, let me know, please. I love knowing about that, and yeah, I would love to read your comments. To track my readings, I basically use three different tools. um yeah, maybe it's a bit too much, but it's what I enjoy to do because I use each of them for different purposes. So the first one that I use is Goodreads, and as I'm sure most of you know and use, this is like the most famous reading tracker that I know. Is the first one that I I known when I started tracking my readings back, I don't know, like 10 years ago. So this is where all my friends that reads have also their tracking. So it's not the best tool, I would say, but I still keep it and keep it updated because my friends are still there. I've been using it for so long. It's also where I have my reading goal. So yeah, I enjoy using that. The second tool that I use is a Storygraph. This is like more like a newer tool that I really enjoy. I don't have as many friends there as in Goodreads because it's a less known app. And I think, for example, in Spain, is not as popular as in other countries like the UK or the US. Many of my friends use it, but I really enjoy it because they give you some stats that Goodreads doesn't give you. So I like using it to pick my next readings because they can suggest you books depending on your mood or what you usually read, and I find it like more accurate, and I like their stats a lot. So yeah, that's the second one. And then the third one that I use a Excel spreadsheet that I saw in one channel. I think it was Read with Cindy. I saw it before. The template wasn't from her, it was from a different creator. I'll try to find her and leave the link below, but I don't remember the name. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I like to have this spreadsheet because it gives me data and I can keep track of how many male and female authors I read through the year, which is something that is very important to me. What are the countries that the author is from? I'm very focused on trying to read as diverse as possible and trying to make a conscious effort to read books from different countries. So this is something that I like keeping tracking about. Also, one of the things that keeps track is the year of publication, which I found really interesting, the ethnicity of the author, and things like that. So yeah, I really enjoy seeing these stats. It gives me like a better understanding of myself. Like it helps me to know me better, to understand like why I'm reading the books that I'm reading, why I'm choosing these kind of books, and how diverse I am reading, and be more conscious for picking my reads in the future. So for example, if we talk about diversity, so I am a person that I tend to read more female authors. This is like a conscious choice that I do since a few years ago. I prefer reading female authors. Is something that I love. I love discover new female authors, and yeah, I love reading books written by women, and this is something that is reflect in my readings. So for example, so far from this year, I have read 8 male authors, so the rest has been women. So that's a total of 44, well, 42 female authors. And I say 42 that are like these women authors. Then I have read 2 books by transgender authors, which is something relatively new for me. I haven't read many books by trans people, and is something that I would love to read more about, understand their perspective in a more accurate way. So yeah, the 2 books that I have read from transgender authors, one was Page Boy by Elliot Page. So I've been following his career since like movies like Juno, also Hard Candy, and like 2 of I don't know if I would say my favorite movies, but for example, Hard Candy is a movie that left me a really important impact in my life. In this memoir, he talks about his experience of being a trans person when you are in the public eye, and how this affected his acting career and his identity. It was a super interesting book. I really enjoy seeing his perspective. I thought it was really interesting, very emotional at times, very painful to see him, how much he suffered, but I think is worth to read. Also, I read it as an audiobook. Is something that I'm trying to do now. Like if I am reading memoirs, I try to consume it as an audiobook because they are often narrated by the author, and it makes the experience so much better and so much deep and personal. Sorry for the change of background, but I thought that I was like this. So yeah, sorry about that. As I was saying, the second book from a transgender author was I'm Afraid of Men by Vivek. I want to pronounce the right correctly. Vivek Soraya. I think I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Sorry if I'm not. Um, I listened to this as an audiobook as well, and this is also the experience of a trans person, and the experiences with men, with as the title says, of the fear of men and how this affected the life of this person. It was quite a sad book, very hard to read, but yeah, very important. It's important that we give voices to these stories and we start to know them. If you have any recommendations from transgender authors that you think I will enjoy, please let me know. I would love to expand my knowledge and get more into it. So yeah, let me know and I'll get into it. Another thing that is really important to me and I'm very interested about, maybe me because of my love of traveling, or maybe because very focused on diversity. I want to read books from every author around the world. This is like a personal purpose that I would like to do. I have seen a lot of videos from people that are reading like at least one book per country in the world. Is something that I would like to do. Is like a goal for me. I would love to do that. I keep track of the countries that I read books about because it's something that I have to do a conscious effort. It doesn't come naturally to me to be picking books from all around the world. Our default countries, when you go to a bookshop, or at least in my case, are from authors from the UK, or in my case that I live in London, from the US or Spain, because I'm Spanish. If I want to read books from other countries, I have to think about like, okay, maybe I'm traveling to this country and I should read a book from an author from there. This is something that I'm trying to do now. And I think it makes the experience of traveling better as well. Just trying to expand my knowledge, read more diverse, and not reading the same authors over and over again that are like European or North American white authors. This year so far, I have read books from 20 different countries, which is not bad. I was surprised. I thought it would have been much less. Also because if I'm thinking of some books that I have read, it have been from authors from the UK, as I said, UK, US, or Spain. But this year I have also read books from Japan. I have read like quite a few Japanese books, like Before the Coffee Gets Cold, like Breast and Eggs, If Cats Disappear from the World. So I have read quite a few from there. I have read some Korean books like Pachinko or Dallergat's Dream Department Store, also from France, like Rebecca, for example, books from Vietnam and so on. This is something that I'm very proud of. I'm hoping, I mean, I know I could do better. Ideally, I would like to pick like each of the books from a different country, but yeah, it's not always possible, or maybe I'm not feeling or I want to read a specific book, and at the end of the day, I read because I enjoy it. I don't want to put myself like too many restrictions and read like as a duty. So yeah, but it's something that I would like to focus more next year. So if we talk about ethnicity, I haven't done so good there. I'm not very happy with myself in that field. So the majority of the books, I mean, I was expecting this, so I'm not shocked or surprised. The majority of authors that I have read are white. This is a reality. This is what happens, is what you see the most in libraries. This is something that I'm not surprised about. I have read quite a few Asian authors, so I'm very happy for that. But for example, I have only read one book from a black author out of 52. So this is not good. I think I fail on this also because I have so many books at home from black authors that I want to read. I have mentioned Toni Morrison here like more than once already. I know I have to do it. So maybe I have to put a more conscious effort about it, and maybe eventually it will come naturally to me. By the way, the book that I read from a black author was My Sister, the Serial Killer, by a Nigerian author. Probably I'm not going to pronounce the name correctly. It's quite difficult. I can try, but it's Oyinkan Braithwaite. White? I'm not sure, but yeah. Sorry if the name is not accurate. My throat is killing me. But yeah, and I have to say that I didn't even enjoy it. I picked this book because it came, I think it was shortlisted in the Women's Prize, shortlisted or winner. But yeah, I don't even enjoy it. Not very happy with my performance there. One of my goals is to do much better next year. And also the last thing that I want to talk about, talking about my stats, is the publication dates. So this is something that I keep track about. Another thing that I mean, I'm not surprised, but it makes me think a lot about how I read, is that most of the books that I have read are like fairly new or new from the last year. So I think out of the 52, only like 6 or 7, I'll leave you the number here, are from before the 2000s. So most of the books that I read are from this century, which makes sense because is the is the century that I live in, is my experience. So it's probably the things that I'm going to relate more. And I love contemporary fiction. So yeah, there's that. I think it's also very important to know and understand books from the past, what they were writing about, what were the stories, because it can help you as well to understand what we are writing these days, because most probably they got some reference from these books. So it's important to read them. This is something that I really want to do next year. But I'm very happy. I have read some classics this year, and I will talk to you. I will talk to you about them. One of them, I think the one that I enjoy the most, was Rebecca. So Rebecca is from the year, I want to say 1938. So it's considered, I mean, it's considered a classic. Maybe it's not one of the oldest classics, but it's a classic. And it's a book that really, really surprised me. Also, one of the things that make the experience even better is that I read it for my book club, which is one of the things that we will talk about a bit later in this video. Rebecca is a book that I didn't know anything about, that it was great surprise for me. If you don't know what it is about, we follow a young girl, which we don't know the name. This girl is a maid from a very rich woman. She meets this rich guy called Mr. Winter, which is a widower. They decided to get married very, very quickly without really knowing each other, and they move to his house, which is in this place called Manderley. When she arrives there, she starts to understand more about this figure of Rebecca, which was Mr. Winter's late wife, who passed away. Things start to happen there, I'm going to say. It's a book that I really enjoy. It's very atmospheric. I won't say that it's a scary book, but it's creepy, and you can feel the cracking wood in the house. You can feel that someone is following you in the hall, things like that. It's very atmospheric. And one of the things that I enjoy the most is discussing it with other people. So that was great. I learned a lot about the book, and it was a great experience. It felt like an achievement to finish that book and to feel like, okay, I have read a classic, and now I get why many people love it, because it's great. Another of the classics that I read this year, which I mean, I love the book, was Pippi Longstocking. Yes, I'm going to consider that a classic, and I don't care if you tell me it's not. I'm going to consider it a classic. It's a book that I didn't know it existed until a few months ago, and I really enjoyed. It was a trip to my childhood. I used to watch the series on and on with my grandma, so to be able to revisit it with the book was great. I love Pippi. She's quite a character. She's amazing. It was a gift to my younger self. because I know she will have wanted and loved it to read this book if she knew it existed. A great classic to read, very short, so you can read it in one sitting. So yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's just a perfect book. Another classic that I read, one Agatha Christie's novels. I have read Agatha Christie before, but not much. I think I have read maybe one other novel of her. So this is my second Agatha Christie's novels. I mean, she wrote faster that I can read, so it's impossible to read all her novels. But yeah, the book that I read was The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, which I have to say that it wasn't a favorite. So it's a really good thriller. With a really good mystery, but I don't know, maybe it was me that I wasn't in the right mood. But by the end of the book, I was like, not caring about the characters much. Like I didn't care who was the killer. So the plot twist at the end is great as always. I mean, when you read Agatha Christie, you're going to have a good time. But yeah, I guess I wasn't in the right mood and mindset for that. But yeah, a pretty good thriller. Now I want to talk about the surprises that I have this year, the surprises of 2024. As I've said, I'm not going to talk about my favorite books. I rated so far. I've rated 10 books with 5 stars so far this year. Maybe there is one more 5 star there that I can rate. I don't know, but I have my hopes up for this one. But let's see how it goes. But yeah, this is for another video. I want to talk to you about surprises in general that I felt reading wise. One of them was, as I mentioned before, that this year, for the first time, I joined a book club. So this is something that I wanted to do for so long. I have always been the one of my friends that I read, or the most, or one of the most readers in my group. So I didn't have that many people around to talk about books or talk about the same books. I've been thinking about joining a book club for a long time. And one day I found this book club that was very close to where I live, that was with people my age and who were reading contemporary fiction. So I decided to join. I've been joining this book club for a year now, and I'm so happy because I'm discovering new authors that I didn't know. I picking books that maybe I haven't discovered for myself, or I wasn't interested, and then I was surprised, and I get to meet new people and talk about books. And that's the great thing, because the interaction with these books is less fun when you just read the book, but you cannot share it with anyone. And thanks to the book club, I have discovered quite a few good books that I still think about them because of the discussion. So the more you interact with a book, the more you are going to remember. One of the things that I have also started to do this year is I have a Notion page where I write my impressions of the books that I'm reading. I write some quotes. I write what I'm thinking while reading the book, if I'm liking it, if not, why is that? That makes me remember a book better than before. There's been a time that I have read a lot, but then I try to revisit the book and think like, what did I think of this book? And I don't remember. So that's not ideal. I mean, I don't like reading to forget completely about the book. It can be books, yeah, they are not going to stick in your mind because they are not going to leave an impression. But if you interact with the book a bit more and you do more of an active reading, uh, is more likely you are going to remember this book. So that's what I'm trying to do now. And also, to enjoy the discussion more, I try to prepare the things that I want to share, what were my thoughts about the book, and that makes the conversation more engaging and more fun. Some of the books that I discovered thanks to the book club were, for example, I Never Known Men, by, let's see if I can find the name, by Jacqueline Hartman. So the name is I Who Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. So this is a Belgian author. I cannot believe that I never heard about this book because it's a dystopy. I love dystopian books. Is like my jam. I love them. I was like, how came that I never heard about this book? So we read it. I think it was February this year. The book is about a world where the society has been wiped out, let's say. There are 40 women that live on a cage, and the men have them there as prisoners, but we don't know what happened, we don't know anything. And one day all the men disappear, and we need to understand like what happened and what is going to happen with these women. So the main character is this young girl. She doesn't know how old she is because she lives in a world where time doesn't matter, where she doesn't know was day, was night, what is everything. So she just tracks the time with the feeding times. It's very interesting to see the world from her perspective, and she's the one who never known men because she was born in this world, in this cage, and we don't know what has happened before that. So it's a super interesting book. One of the things that pissed me off a little bit, and I shared this when we did the discussion in the book club, I don't like open endings. So I really like when I get to the end, that you tell me this has happened, this is why it's happened, this is how it's happened. So you tell me everything. I don't like open endings. I don't like having to make my own assumptions, and I like to know the origin of things. I don't want to spoil it to you. You can understand like what I'm trying to say. This is one of the things that I didn't enjoy that much about the book, but the discussion was amazing. The things that we shared were great, and I'm like, it's been almost a year, and I can still feel and remember what I thought about the book. So this is great. Thanks to the book club, I have read Pachinko, that was in my bookshelf for I think at least 5 years, and I finally read it and I loved it, and I'm so happy I read it. I could share it with lots of people. We are going to read Intermezzo for January. So this is one of the things that I'm super excited about. And yeah, I'm planning to read it during the Christmas holidays. Thanks to the book club, I also read Demon Copperhead. It was the women's prize for fiction winner of 2024. So that's great. I'm trying to get more into the women's prize world, so this was the perfect opportunity to do it, and it made me very curious to read David Copperfield. So this might be something that happens in the future. So many others. So it's true that when you are not picking the books, it can happen that you don't like all of the books that you read. But this is also the fun about it. Like even if you don't enjoy one of the books, you can still have fun sharing your thoughts about it. I can think of there was one book that all of us hated. That was One of the Good Guys. So this was a thriller. I mean, I didn't trust the cover because if you see this cover, what is this? Like, graphic design is my passion, okay? When I see this cover, I was like, I don't trust this book. It's a thriller. I love thrillers, but I don't trust this book. I mean, I was right not to trust in this book. The book is about a guy that he recently separated of or divorced, I don't know, from his wife, and he moved to a new village. This is all in the UK, and he meets this new woman that she's an artist, and yeah, it's kind of, you kind of think that like a love story is going to happen, but from the beginning I had like a bad feeling about about the guy. He's the narrator, and he's trying to tell you how good he is. He's justifying himself a lot. So from the very beginning, you're like, I don't think I can trust this guy. I mean, in case you want to read it, I'm not going to say anything else. Many people from the book club hated it. And also, like in parallel to this love story, we are following two girls that are doing hiking through the UK. to, like, as a protest to for women's rights, to be able to hike alone or with just women without being attacked or worse. So the premise was very interesting, but then the execution was so so. But even though we hated the book, the discussion was so much fun. So much fun. We rant about the book so much. We talk about how much we hated the guy. It was so much fun. And I know I'm going to remember this book because of how fun I had while I was talking about it. If you wanted a sign to join a book club, maybe this is yours. Go to do it. I'm loving it so much that I also created my own book club. Now I'm co-hosting a book club in a local cafe next to mine. We are meeting once a month in London, and it's quite amazing. We are going to meet in January with our third book, which is 100 Years of Solitude. That's why I have it here. I have to finish it before our meeting because, yeah, I have to plan the questions and the things that we are going to discuss on this meeting. So, yeah, very excited, but I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. The second thing that was a surprise for me in 2024 is that I was able to see them finish some books. So this was something new for me. I wasn't doing before. For me, it was quite hard to not finish a book because I'm thinking like, okay, if I invested all this time, now I need to finish it. It's true that I tend to still do that. Like, I cannot like read 10 pages and say like, okay, it's not for me, move on. I try to give it an opportunity and try, unless I'm not in the mood, but I know like probably I will pick it up later, but not like abandon it completely. For me, that's really hard, and I try not to do it. But this year, I was able to do it, and I don't regret it because, yeah, there are some times that it's not the right book for you. There are so many books out there, and why should you read books that you are not enjoying and they don't bring you joy? You shouldn't do that. So that's what I'm trying to do now. I don't know how many books I didn't finish this year. It wasn't that much. It was at least like a couple of or three. I know that I didn't finish a book for my book club. That was the book that we were reading in November. That was Glass Houses by Francesca Rees. It was a pity because I wanted to finish this book and meet the author. The author came to one of the book discussions, but yeah, I wasn't feeling it with this book. This is by a Welsh author. It was like very Welsh oriented, I would say. Like, many expressions were in Welsh. There was a lot of Welsh names. They were talking about Wales a lot, and it's something that I'm not familiarized with. And for me, it was very difficult to follow all these things. Like, I couldn't even keep track on who was the male protagonist and who was the female protagonist. Combined with that, I wasn't loving the story. It was like, okay, it's fine. You don't want to read this, then don't. And yeah, I don't read it. So yeah, that was one. I also didn't finish Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is something that I probably regret not finishing. I think I will enjoy that book and I will probably give it an opportunity at some point, but I know I wasn't in the right mindset at the moment to read it. But yeah, I'll probably try to read it again a bit later in the future. But it's true that the book wasn't mine. I needed to give it back, and I was like, okay, I'm not advancing with it. So yeah, being honest, I'm going to finish it on time. So that's why I decided to give it up. But for me, is, yeah, some advances. Like, sometimes you don't feel like reading a book, and you should be able to stop and go to a different book, and that's totally okay. So yeah, that was my surprises of the year. I will let you know more surprises and my favorite books in a different video, as I said before. Now, let's talk about the disappointments of the year. There were quite a few. I don't know if I have like a top 10 worst books of the year. I don't think I didn't enjoy that many. Also because I try to pick books that I generally think I'm going to enjoy. I don't like hate read books because I know that I'm going to hate them. Like, I know there are some people that read bad books or books that they know they will hate to share it in videos or things like that. I mean, that's totally okay. That is not what I do because I read to enjoy the things that I read and to learn. So yeah, but it's true that sometimes you make bad choices, and that's okay. One of the disappointments of the year, if you follow this channel, probably you already know about this book, The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which was my my biggest enemy of the year. I will say this is a book that I didn't enjoy at all. I mean, I wouldn't say that I hated it. I mean, I have a whole video talking to you about this, so if you want to go to watch it, feel free. I leave it down below. It was a book that I came into it expecting like to read something similar to Gilmore Girls, with which was something that I was watching in that moment, and I wanted to feel the vibes and yeah, just enjoy like a warm, cozy book. And I didn't get that. I thought it was a very flat book, very plain, very stupid, with kind of a mystery that wasn't a mystery. So yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting. I know it's a very loved book. I'm seeing in bookshops, in the bookstore, like everywhere. I know that people are enjoying it, but yeah, it's definitely is not for me. Seeing my ratings, I have two books that I have rated 1 star and 1.5 star. So yeah, let's talk about those. First, I'm going to talk about the 1.5 star book. That 1.5 star, surprisingly, is from this author. Yes, is from Gabriel Garcia Marquez, which I'm shocked about. This was also for my book club, the book that we read. I think it was July or August, maybe July. We read the last Gabriel Garcia Marquez book, which was En agosto nos vemos. I don't know the name in English, like until August. Maybe I'm not sure. I'll leave the screenshot here. But I read it in Spanish. He wrote originally in Spanish. What pisses me off about this book and why I rated it 1.5 stars is because this book is unfinished. This book doesn't make any sense because it's only 6 chapters that are beautifully written, but they don't make any sense. And this was published without the author consent. Their hairs, I don't know if it was is the kids, the son of the author or the grandson. I don't know who he was, but he published it without his consent. First, I don't agree with that. I think you need to respect the author's wishes, and if he didn't want to publish this, it shouldn't be published. And also, what's the point of publishing something that is 6 chapters? I mean, I could understand it if, I don't know, maybe you didn't write the end. You have the novel, the core of the novel written, but it was just like a few annotations all over the place, very beautifully written because his style is amazing, but that they didn't make any sense. So, what's the point of that? So yeah, that's why I gave it 1.5 stars. I know that it wasn't like a very loved book in the book club discussion because of the same reason. So yeah, there's that. Stop publishing books if without the author consent, please. And yeah, let's talk about the book that I rated with 1 star. It's a book that I finished last month, also for my book club. We were reading this book, Dallergas Dream Department Store. And I came into this book. I mean, I have seen this book in a lot of stores, like a international bestseller. I was like, okay, this is going to be same vibes as Before the Coffee Gets Cold, but with a more Korean style. I want to dive into it. I want to do it, definitely. Spoiler alert: it didn't happen. It didn't happen. This book was. How can I start? So the premise of the book, what it says in the title. So it's a dream department store where people can buy dreams. A few people are selling these dreams. The premise is very interesting. It's like the author had a good idea but didn't know how to put it into practice. It was like a very flat story. She didn't get to any deeper level, like any details of anything. It was just like pointless descriptions. The plot was non existent. It became even a bit repetitive, even though the book is really short. Every time she had a good idea, like, for example, there was a moment that she mentioned that you can give dreams to other people when you are dead to remember you. And that was something really beautiful. And I wanted to know more about it, but it was gone like in three lines and she moved on to the next topic. It kind of felt like a kid's book and I didn't get the point of that. So none of the people that went to the book club enjoyed that. I think one person only did. Again, what I was saying before, we really enjoyed the discussion. We started to talk about dreams and why we dream, that for a more philosophical and scientific point of view. I finished the discussion learning so much about dreams. We share and read articles. We talk about conscious dreams, sleepwalking, things like that. And that was super interesting. Again, I read it a one because the experience of reading it was painful. But I don't regret reading it because it gave me like a really good discussion with people. So yeah, that's the joy of sharing your readings. Yeah, that's also why I have this channel. So I really have fun talking to you about the books that I love and also the books that I hate. Keep talking about disappointments. I want to talk about two other books that I picked and wrongly picked because they had beautiful covers. And I'm guilty about that. Okay. So we are all superficial. I mean, if you tell me you are not, I know that you're lying. Okay. So don't judge me. Yeah. Sometimes I pick books because they have beautiful covers. Sue me, but I do. But also I picked this up, these two books because I have watched like a lot of reviews about them that people have really loved them. So I was like, okay, I think I might enjoy them. So I'm going to give them a try. The first book was Our Wives Under the Sea. So yeah, this is a book that has this beautiful cover that I love, but the book is so pointless. So it's about, the premise is really good. It's about two wives, like a couple of two women. One of them is a diver in a submarine, and she goes into an expedition that gets delayed, and she stays there 6 more months that she was supposed to be, while the other wife is in land waiting for her without knowing nothing about her, not knowing she was alive, if she was dead, if she needed to grieve, without any information, calling the base, like the submarine base, and they weren't giving her any instructions or any information. So it's about when she comes back, what were the consequences of being there for so long under the sea, and also what was the attitude of the person that is waiting and doesn't know what is happening to your loved one. So the premise is very interesting, but that's it. That's it. That's the book. That's the premise. So that is the most interesting thing. Then the chapters goes on and on. They are very repetitive. They Nothing is happening in the chapters. You can go through the pages and nothing is really happening. When things start to get interesting, the book finishes. So that was so sorry. I got emotional and clicked the microphone, and I almost turned it off. So this is the second time that I recorded this video. So Irene, please don't fuck it up. So yeah, what I was saying. Yeah, so the end comes when things start to get interesting. That was so disappointing. And also, this is rated and published, and yeah, it is said to be a horror book. A horror book. Where is the horror? Like I didn't understand it. Like nothing. There is like some body horror maybe, but it is also subtle and so plain that you can feel it. So yeah, I don't know. Didn't enjoy that at all. But I mean, the cover is very beautiful. So there's that. Also, the other book that I read because of the cover is this one, Cleopatra and Frankenstein. This was a huge disappointment because when I saw the cover, I was like, oh my god, this book is so beautiful. And I have seen so many people doing reviews about it in a lot of lists like weird girl books, things like that. And it's like this is my thing. This is what I enjoy. I'm going to really enjoy this book. And also I took it from the library, both this one and Blue Sisters, so the second book from the author. I was like, yeah, I'm going to read Cleopatra and Frankenstein first, and then just after that, Blue Sisters, and I'm going to have the time of my life again. Didn't happen. I have to finish this video soon because my voice is killing me. I started this book, and in the first chapter, I was in love with the book. I was like, this is so normal people vibes. I'm going to love this. This love story is I'm really into this book. But then after the second chapter, it's all gone. It's all gone. I was like, is a book that is no plot, just vibes. This is not like a book for me. I need a plot for the books that I read. I like plots, or I like good character developments. And this book had none of this. The characters are very flat. Like it's all party, drinks, drugs, and that's it. And like maybe this is a book that I would have enjoyed 10 years ago. I don't know, but I know that normal people wasn't like a very plot book. But I mean, I know that the character development was much better than Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I know that. I didn't enjoy that. I was so disappointed that I returned Blue Sisters as well without reading it, because I was like, if this is going to be the same, I'm not. I'm not getting into this boat. So I don't know. Let me know. Should I read Blue Sisters? Is it better than Cleopatra and Frankenstein, or is just that this author is not for me? Because I have seen so many people enjoying these books. So I want to understand if it's just me. I don't know if it was just like a one off, and then maybe I will love Blue Sisters. I don't know. Let me know. So yeah, finishing with the disappointments. Last thing that I want to talk about is 2025 reading goals. I don't want to put myself like very ambitious reading goals, because as I said, I I read for pleasure, and even though I'm filming these videos and I want to film interesting videos about this and talk about interesting books, I still read for fun. Yeah, I want to keep reading what I want and without pressure, because that's the best thing. That's the best thing. I don't like reading books because they are trendy, even though sometimes where there is like a phenomenon, I like to read it just to understand why is that popular. That was the case with Fourth Wing or with the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, for example. I will say, so my reading goal for this year was 55 books. I don't think I can read much more than that in a year. Also, with all the things that I do apart from reading, like having a full time job, traveling, having friends, family, a partner, all these things. I also noticed that since I'm filming these videos, is filming, editing, all these things, that this is a lot of time that I'm not spending reading. So yeah, this has also been affected. But I think if I can reach by the end of this year the goal of 55 books, probably I'll set my reading goals for next year to 56. So just one more to keep the track. But I mean, this is a flexible goal. I just want to read books that I'm interested about, that I'm going to learn, that are going to um, bring me something. I don't like reading just for the sake of reading and just to check a box and hit a reading goal, because nobody cares about your reading goal. I mean, nobody cares if you have read 10 books or 100. Literally, nobody cares. So yeah, apart from that, what I would like to keep focusing on is on diversity. So I have said that I want to keep reading books from different countries. This year I have read books from 20 different countries. So this is something that I want to keep improving. Maybe I will say that I want to read maybe 25 countries for 2025. I think it's a good amount. Yeah, 2025 countries for 2025. No, 25 countries for 2025. I love that. And also trying to pick different countries that I haven't read this year. So I have so many that I haven't read. Like I have the whole Africa to explore, most of Asia, most of Europe even. I haven't read a book from an Australian author or a Portuguese author or I don't know, from someone from Italy. This is something that I want to keep doing. Also read more diverse, so not only read white male or female, but also yeah, ethnicity wise, much more diverse. And yeah, this is something that I want to put my focus on. Another one of my goals is to get more into the women's prize world. I think I mentioned it before. I don't know, this video is so long that I don't even know what I was talking about before. One of the I've been listening to this podcast. It's called Bookshelfie, and is the Women's Prize podcast, and the host talks with different authors that has been shortlisted or longlisted or winners of the Women Prize, and they have super interesting conversations. I'm like, okay, I want to read all these authors. Like every time I have read long or short or winner of the Women Prize, I haven't enjoyed it. Well, apart from my sister, the serial killer, one of, what can I say? But the rest I have enjoyed it. One of my personal goals would be to read like the whole at least list of winners of the Women Prize, like from I don't know in which year this started, if it was the 2000s, maybe even before. I know that Kate Moss created the Women's Prize, and I have one of her books that I want to read. That is The Ghost Ship. I purchased it the other day, and I can't wait to start reading it. So yeah, I want to get more into this. I have seen some videos of people reading the shortlisted authors before the winner comes out. And to be honest, this is a video that I would like to do. I don't know if you would be interested in that. Let me know. This would be a challenge. I have seen people that have read the long listed list, but I think that's too much for me because I don't know if it's 12 books and you only have like 1 month to read them. So, I mean, it's a money investment, it's a lot of money because not all of the books will be available in the library because they are fairly new. Also, I don't have the time to read 12 books in a month because I have to work. But yeah, maybe the shortlisted one is something that I could potentially do. So yeah, this is something that I will think about. Not sure when the long listed is published. I think it's around February or March. So yeah, I'll keep you posted about that. But yeah, let me know what you think about that. But yeah, my goal would be to read for sure the list of winners, not all in 2025. This is like a long-term goal for fiction and non-fiction. So with non-fiction is easier because this is a prize that started this year. So we only have one winner for now, is Naomi Klein with Doppelganger. I still have this book pending. I have it as an audiobook because she's the narrator of that. I said, I think the non-fiction books narrated by the authors are like the best experience that you can have. And this book looks so interesting. I mean, I think I'm going to love it. And I'm like scared to approach it because I'm afraid that I'm going to love it so much. But yeah, also I want to be calm and in a quiet place when I read it because I feel like I'm going to take a lot of notes, and because I'm listening to it, I cannot like highlight it. Well, maybe I can because I have it in the Chic Shack app, and I think you have the ebook as well there. Not sure. I want to read that book to be like to keep up with the winners before the new winner comes out next year. So yeah, I'll keep you posted about this goal. But yeah, is one of my main goals. The last goal that I have is to start reading more classics. This is a goal that I've been having for so long. But yeah, it's something that I really want to do. As I said before, I mostly read books that are fairly new, and this is okay. But I think, yeah, it's important to read books that were written before to understand the circumstances there and everything. And I know that there are a lot of books that are classics for a reason. So yeah, I would really love to start approaching those. This is another one of my books, of my goals for 2025. Also, because I have a video plan for my birthday. So I'll give you a bit of an spoiler. My birthday, which is in June, the video that I'm planning to do there is to recommend you a book per year that I was alive. And so I have to make sure that I have read at least one book per year that I was alive. Because to be honest, I'm not really sure that I have done it. I will have to check. So this is another one of the goals that I have. I was born in 1993. So yeah, in this video I will recommend you 32 books. So that's not bad. But yeah, I have to make sure that I have read these books, because if I'm like, have you read a book that was published in 1995? I have no idea, but maybe not. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so this video was insanely long. I hope you make it to the end. If you are still here, thank you so much for watching it. If you are still here, let me like an emoji, like I don't know. Let's put the glasses emoji. I think there is a glasses emoji, so let's put that to make sure that you were here. I would love to see that you make it to the end, and yeah, maybe you got some new book recommendations, or you are going to join a book club now, or I don't know. You are going to set up your 2025 goal. I'll let you know, because this video is supposed to be published on the 30th of December. So I'll let you know if I hit it, my 55 book goal. I hope I have done it. But yeah, in case I haven't, it's okay. No worries about that. But yeah, let me know what's your goal for 2025, what books you are reading, what are you planning to read. And apart from that, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone. I hope you are having a great day, great days with your family and your loved ones. And yeah, Happy New Year. I will see you in 2025. Ciao.